question comes from the lovely Roxana in our front row. Hi, Roxana.
Hi, Rach. How are you?
Hi, honey.
So my question is this. I know there are a lot of plant-based products out there that taste absolutely amazing as meat alternatives, but I don't even know what's in them. Is it really healthier than eating meat?
So plant-based burgers, we have two burgers here. So we're actually going to talk about taste before we talk about health, because actually these burgers were actually not created to be healthier. That's number one. They were actually created to compete with actually the mouthfeel and the taste that regular... Right, so I want to take that into account. So I'm going to cut two burgers here. Maybe we won't tell you, Roxana, which one is which. We have one plant-based burger and one regular burger. And Peter, I'm putting you to work. Okay. Try not to eat this on the way over there, but we want you to deliver these over to Roxana. And I want you to just take a bite of each.
Maybe Roxanne.
Roxana. Okay. There may be a half left for you afterwards.
Each for you, if you'd like.
Okay, so we're going to send this over. And Roxana, maybe just give us a little rundown of what you taste, you know, in terms of the juiciness, how meaty it tastes, the sodium, the salt content, things of that sort. And as you sample that, when we get into the taste, we see here a little demonstration, a little detail about the health content, right? The nutritional factors involved in the meatless burgers versus the beef burgers. And so if you look at this, and we can take a moment, Rachel, to look at this, it turns out they're not really that different when it comes to nutritional value. There's a couple things to point out here, though. Number one, cholesterol, right? Big risk factor for heart disease, as well as potentially other cardiovascular issues, stroke, other things. The plant-based burgers have no cholesterol, right? So that's one clear advantage for the plant-based burger. On the flip side, if you look at sodium content, which we're all very conscious of, if you actually have high blood pressure, kidney disease, you actually want to be really careful about how much sodium you're taking in. The actual beef burger has almost a third of the sodium that a plant-based burger.
Right, to improve the flavor of the plant-based
Right, and people often say, well, how can a plant-based burger have so much saturated fat, have the same saturated fat as a beef burger?
Again, we need to replace the fat.
Exactly. So part of this is the coconut oil that is in a lot of these plant-based burgers was put there to get...
it feels the mouthfeel.
Sort of the sizzle on the griddle, they call it. It's the mouthfeel. It gives meat that sizzling taste. And that's why actually they add things like coconut oil. So the take home here is that these burgers were actually created more for environmental reasons. So the founders of many of these companies were concerned about the greenhouse gas emissions, the amount of water used, the amount of land used to produce a burger.
It was about using less cattle, period,
exactly.
for farming. Right.
Exactly. So 90% less water, less land, and 90% less greenhouse gas emissions from a plant-based burger as compared to a beef burger. And so what do you think? You've tasted the burgers now. Tell us what you think about each one.
They look and taste absolutely identical.
When you think about what gives meat its meatiness, it's actually the heme molecule, which before was only found in animal products. And so one company has found a way to find it from the root of a soy plant. They have reverse engineered it to actually extract heme from a plant, which is why some of these products are indistinguishable taste-wise, which is what you just said.
They really look and smell, quite frankly, like the juice is coming from meat when you cook it.
Right, exactly. So the last point I'll make here in terms of health is that there are downsides to eating red meat. A recent study showed that just eating red meat twice a week increases your risk of heart disease. And so I think if you can have or substitute once or twice a week a plant-based burger, plant-based meat, instead of animal-based proteins, you actually may have a great impact on your risk of heart disease.
Even if you're not, and I say this all the time, flexitarian is a good way for everybody to be. Even if you're not vegan or vegetarian, it's mindful of the planet and certainly of your health, especially the older you get. My husband and I eat red meat maybe once a week now.
Exactly.
And when we do, we enjoy it, and that's fine.
Right.
But we eat a largely plant-based diet. And honestly, you can't tell the difference with some of these products. They're delicious.
Yes, I agree, totally agree. So thanks, Roxana, for your question. It was great.